If somebody were to start off at the Thames estuary and follow the river upstream, at every fork choosing the main flow of water, this methodology would eventually bring them to a field up in the Cotswolds, where there are a number of springs. The highest of these is known as Thames Head, identified by the Ordnance Survey map and the Environment Agency as the official source of the River Thames. There have been many who dispute this status, dating back centuries. To the north, near Cheltenham, is a site known as Seven Springs. This is the furthest source from the estuary, both as the crow flies and as the water runs. If it were recognised as a source, it would make the Thames the longest river in Britain. Attempts have been made to have Seven Springs officially recognised as the source, but these have gained little ground. To do so would require time and investment to change all the maps and the signage pointing to the source of the river, and few are willing to make this effort over a technicality. If the official source of the Thames were to be moved, it would likely require the National Trust to move the start of the Thames Path, a 294-kilometre walking trail leading from here to the Thames Barrier in London. The path has been here in some form for a long time. In the high days of horse-drawn barges, a towpath ran all along the river. But with the rise of motor barges, the towpath began to fall into disuse. The ferries, which had once made up key links in the path, were shut down, and chunks of the path itself became overgrown, eroded by the river, or simply built over. However, as river traffic plummeted in the mid-20th century, the scenery became very peaceful and picturesque, and surviving sections of the path became popular for ramblers. In 1973, David Sharp met with the River Thames Society to propose the first solid plan to link up these paths to create a continuous national trail. He worked with numerous ramblers organisations to create a 44-page report to prove that it was possible, using existing bridges and carving new paths to link everything up. But actually building the route was not easy for a volunteer-run organisation to pull off. Much reconstruction work was required where the path had degraded, and a string of landowners needed to be negotiated with for right-of-way. And even though they hadn't been planned for, ultimately some new bridges were required to be built. The issues were particularly notable above Cricklade, where there had never been a towpath, and a whole new route had to be created from scratch if the path were to reach the source. Finally, in 1996, the Thames Path was officially opened. While some deviations were necessary, it was now possible to traverse the entire length of the river on foot. Hikers, who can typically cover around 24 kilometres in a day, will normally take around 14 days to reach the Thames Barrier, then a further 3 to cover the Thames Path extension, which takes them all the way out to the estuary. Cyclists, who can move a bit faster, can typically reach the North Sea in 7 days, provided they are willing to take a few detours, or else lift their bikes over an irritating number of kissing gates. Travellers on the path visiting Thames Head in the summer will likely find one feature sadly missing, and that is water. The spring is dry most of the year, with a small pile of stones to mark the spot where it would be if it was active. In the summertime, visitors will typically have to travel more than a kilometre downstream before they encounter the first puddles, and almost 3 before they find a continuous stream. At the height of the 2022 heatwave, the Thames receded 8 kilometres downstream to Somerford Quays. But it wasn't always this way. Many old illustrations show a series of very active springs and wells on the site, dating back to the Iron Age, when a nearby hill fort took its supply from the spring. In the 1870s, the Thames and Severn Canal opened. Its highest stretch passed by Thames Head, making it an obvious point to draw water from. A large wind-powered pump was built nearby. But the canal proved much thirstier than expected. 2 lockfuls of water had to be pumped in every time a boat went through, and due to the porous nature of the rock in the area, the canal leaked quite badly. The windmill was soon replaced with a steam pump, which was continuously upgraded in the ongoing battle to keep the canal supplied. By the 1880s, the pump was moving 13.6 megalitres of water a day. This had the effect of lowering the water table in the area. Though the Thames and Severn closed in 1933, rising population has continued to drain the ground. The reservoirs in the Cotswold Water Park have diverted water further, leaving Thames Head in its current mostly dry state. For the occasions when the water is flowing, the Thames conservators felt a monument was needed to see them off. In 1936, a statue of Old Father Thames was placed on the site, designed by Raphael Monti. It was originally made for the Great Exhibition in the Crystal Palace in 1854. When the Crystal Palace was destroyed by a fire, the statue was bought by the Thames conservators and brought to the source of the river he's supposed to preside over. But this blank, unguarded statue proved a popular target for vandals. Railings were put up around it, but it was a losing battle. In 1974, the statue was moved to Lechlade, where it could be seen and guarded by more people. In its place, a stone slab was erected to mark the spot, with a plaque inscribed by the conservators of the River Thames stating that this is the source of the river. From this sometimes waterlogged field, the waters of the Thames begin their long journey to the sea. In just under a kilometre, they encounter their first crossing. And that is a story for next time. Thank you for watching. As you can see, I decided to make shorter videos for this series, which should allow me to focus more on particular subjects and upload more often. If you would like to follow this series, please like, share and subscribe, and why not leave a comment to let me know your thoughts so far. I am working on part 2 right now, which should be with you soon. I am also working on some more one-off train videos. I hope to see you there.